In 2024, there are places where Americans are simply not welcome, places shrouded in tension, where the very ground you walk on seems to whisper, "Turn back." Stay tuned to find out which countries you should avoid for your own safety and well-being. From heavily guarded borders to simmering political climates, we'll navigate the complexities that make these destinations off-limits. Before we dive in, let's aim for 100 likes on this video. Your support helps bring these crucial travel advisories to light. Our first stop takes us to the east, to a land cloaked in secrecy and shrouded in mystery. North Korea, officially the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, has long existed as an enigma, a place where the past and present intertwine in a complex dance. Beneath the facade of grand monuments and orchestrated parades lies a stark reality for American travelers. You are not welcome. The country's tightly controlled environment is designed to project an image of strength and unity, but the truth is far more complicated. The relationship between the United States and North Korea has been strained for decades, marked by periods of intense hostility and brief moments of diplomatic engagement. The Korean War, armistice agreements, and nuclear tensions have all contributed to a complex and often volatile relationship. Tourism to North Korea is possible, but only through heavily monitored government-sanctioned tours. These tours offer a glimpse into the country's culture and history, but they are carefully curated to ensure that visitors see only what the government wants them to see. Forget about wandering off the beaten path or striking up conversations with locals. Independent exploration is strictly forbidden, and interactions with North Korean citizens are limited and controlled. Every step you take, every word you utter will be observed, scrutinized. Surveillance is omnipresent, and the sense of being constantly watched can be unnerving. The North Korean government views Americans with deep suspicion. This mistrust is rooted in decades of political and military conflict, and it manifests in the way visitors are treated. Add to this the very real danger of being detained, even for minor infractions, and it becomes clear why North Korea earns its place on our list. The consequences of breaking the rules can be severe, and the risk of imprisonment is a constant concern. So, unless you have a burning desire to experience life inside a tightly controlled bubble, it's best to admire the hermit kingdom from afar. The beauty of its landscapes and the intrigue of its culture can be appreciated without the risks that come with a visit. North Korea remains a place of fascination and fear, a land where the unknown looms large. From the Korean peninsula, we journey westward to Iran, a land steeped in history and culture. This ancient land, home to the Persian Empire, should be a traveler's dream. With its stunning architecture, rich traditions, and breathtaking landscapes, Iran offers a unique and unforgettable experience. And yet, for Americans, Iran presents a complex challenge. The intricate visa process and the political tensions between the two nations add layers of difficulty to what should be a straightforward journey. The political climate casts a long shadow over any potential visit. Decades of strained relations have created an environment of mutual distrust and caution. While Iran does issue tourist visas to Americans, the process is notoriously difficult and lengthy. Applicants often face extensive background checks and interviews, making the entire procedure daunting and time-consuming. Upon arrival, you'll be met with a level of scrutiny that makes airport security look like a walk in the park. Every aspect of your visit will be closely monitored. As an American, you'll be under constant observation. Surveillance is pervasive, and your movements will be tracked meticulously. The Iranian government views American visitors with suspicion, often seeing them as potential spies. This perception is deeply ingrained and affects how visitors are treated. Anti-American sentiment runs deep in some segments of Iranian society, fueled by years of propaganda. This can create an unwelcoming atmosphere for American travelers. In a country where the stakes are this high, even a minor misstep can have serious consequences. It's crucial to be aware of the local laws and customs to avoid any misunderstandings or legal issues. Our next destination takes us to South America, to Venezuela. Home to the breathtaking Angel Falls, Venezuela is in crisis. Political instability, economic collapse, and rampant crime have transformed this nation into a cautionary tale. For Americans, Venezuela is a no-go zone. The U.S. State Department has issued a Level 4 travel advisory, its highest warning. Violent crime is rampant, with kidnappings, armed robberies, and homicides a daily occurrence. The Venezuelan government harbors deep anti-American sentiment. Americans are often seen as scapegoats for the country's woes. The risk of being arbitrarily detained is high, and the conditions in Venezuelan prisons are notoriously harsh. For Americans, Venezuela is simply too dangerous. Chapter 4: War-torn and weary Syria. Once a cradle of civilization, Syria has been ravaged by a brutal civil war. For Americans, Syria is an absolute no-go zone. The U.S. State Department has issued its highest travel warning. The country is a patchwork of conflict zones with fighting a constant threat. Kidnappings are rampant, with foreigners, especially Americans, seen as valuable targets. The Syrian government is hostile towards the United States. Even if you navigate the war zones, the infrastructure has been decimated. Hospitals are overwhelmed, food and water are scarce. Syria is a nation in ruins, and for Americans it's a stark reminder of the human cost of war. Chapter 5: A land in turmoil, Yemen. Yemen should be a destination for intrepid explorers. Instead, Yemen is mired in a brutal civil war. For Americans, Yemen is a dangerous and unforgiving place. The U.S. State Department has issued its highest travel warning. The fighting has created a volatile and unpredictable security situation. Kidnappings, particularly of foreigners, are a serious threat. The Yemeni government views Americans with suspicion. Beyond the immediate dangers, Yemen is facing a humanitarian crisis. For Americans, Yemen is a stark reminder of the human cost of war. Chapter 6: The Perils of Instability, Libya. Libya once held the promise of becoming a tourist destination. Today, Libya grapples with the legacy of a tumultuous revolution. For Americans, Libya is a dangerous and unpredictable destination. The U.S. State Department has issued its highest travel warning. The country is awash in weapons, and armed militias hold sway in many areas. Kidnappings, particularly of foreigners, are a serious concern. The Libyan government remains weak and fragmented. Infrastructure has been severely damaged during years of conflict. For Americans, Libya is a stark reminder that the path to stability and peace can be long and perilous. Chapter 7: A Land Adrift, Somalia. Somalia has been ravaged by decades of civil war, famine, and political instability. For Americans, Somalia is a no-go zone. The U.S. State Department has issued its highest travel warning. Al-Shabaab poses the most significant threat to safety and security in Somalia. The group controls vast swaths of territory and has carried out numerous attacks. Beyond the threat of terrorism, Somalia is plagued by high levels of violent crime. The country lacks a functioning central government. Piracy remains a potential risk off the Somali coast. For Americans, Somalia represents a stark reminder of the dangers that persist in a world where lawlessness and violence often reign supreme. Chapter 8: A Land Scarred by Conflict, Afghanistan. This chapter delves into the heart of a nation that has been at the crossroads of history, culture, and conflict for centuries. Afghanistan has been shaped by centuries of conflict and turmoil. From the ancient invasions of Alexander the Great to the modern-day struggles, the land bears the scars of countless battles. For Americans, Afghanistan is synonymous with war and instability. The U.S. involvement, which began in 2001, has left an indelible mark on both nations. Following the withdrawal of U.S. forces in 2021, Afghanistan has become a dangerous place for Westerners. The rapid takeover by the Taliban has drastically altered the landscape. The U.S. State Department has issued its highest travel warning. This advisory underscores the severe risks that Americans face if they travel to or remain in Afghanistan. The Taliban, now in control, has a long history of hostility towards the United States. Their resurgence has reignited fears of oppression and violence. Americans are at risk of being targeted for attacks or kidnappings. The volatile environment makes it perilous for any foreigner, especially those from the West. The security situation remains volatile, with the potential for violence erupting at any time. The streets of Kabul and other cities are fraught with danger. Beyond the immediate threat of violence, Afghanistan is facing a humanitarian crisis. Millions are displaced, and the lack of basic necessities has led to widespread suffering. For Americans, Afghanistan serves as a sobering reminder of the enduring legacy of conflict. The sacrifices made and the lives lost are etched into the collective memory of both nations. Outro: stay informed, stay safe. So, there you have it. 8 destinations where being American can make you a target, a hostage, or worse. These aren't just travel advisories, They're real-life danger zones. But here's the good news. The world is vast and full of incredible places where you're welcome. So, keep your sense of adventure alive. Just be informed, be prepared, and most importantly, be safe. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative, don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more updates. And if you have any travel safety tips or stories you'd like to share, drop them in the comments below.